So we managed to import one of the newer DJI Osmo Pocket 4 Creator combos to see if it's actually worth the investment. Since my husband is the technical mastermind behind our cameras, he's handling the physical unboxing while I jump on the mic to break down exactly what you get inside of this massive kit. If you've been wondering if the upgrade from the Pocket 3 is actually worth it, stick around because we're going to go through every single piece of gear that you're getting. Right now, he's just slicing through that tight factory plastic wrap and getting into the main structural box. When you're looking to spend a significant amount of money on a portable camera system like this, you want to know that the packaging and presentation match the price tag. DJI usually doesn't disappoint when it comes to the initial presentation, ensuring that everything is tightly nested and secure so nothing gets damaged during transit from overseas or wherever they're shipping it from. As he peels back the outer layer, we're going to see how they've organized the internal layout for this generation. So DJI's packaging layout is always highly organized and nested. Sliding out the outer sleeve shows off how they've packed everything in tight layers to protect the optics. Honestly, if you're using this for daily content creation, the Creator Combo is usually the most practical route to go. Buying the wireless audio components, extended battery handles, and lens modules separately later always ends up costing way more down the road. So getting it all in one cohesive unit just makes sense. All right, so he's lifting up the top lid now, exposing the initial layer while the documentation and core accessories are safely stored away. Right up top is the basic documentation packet. He's pulling out the safety information, the quick start guides, the warranty tracking papers. If you've owned a DJI product before, you know that they always include a set of those classic logo stickers inside the manual sleeve. While it's just the standard paperwork layer, it's worth keeping these quick start guides handy for this generation. With the updated internal storage, new physical buttons, and revised menu systems, there are a few new button combinations and swipe gestures that are a bit different from the older Pocket 3 layout. So there's more of just, the quick start, how to operate it, how to get it turned on. So while he's setting those aside, we can finally start digging into the actual hardware and see what structural changes they've made to the carrying ecosystem this time around. All right, so now we're getting into the actual storage setups, and they've included two separate options here. First is this lightweight, soft slip pouch. It's a thin, flexible material that's really just meant for basic scratch protection. It's perfect if you want to slide the bare camera body straight into like a jacket pocket or a separate compartment in your carry-on bag without worrying about the screen getting scuffed up by your keys or other gear while you're walking around. It has a nice soft texture to it and fits the main unit like a glove. Underneath the layer is a main zippered carrying case, which is a massive part of the combo's everyday value. The outer fabric feels a bit heavier, stiffer, and more weather resistant than the previous generations. When he zips it open, you can see the interior is fully structured with custom compartments. It's explicitly designed to keep every single module, clip, and cable completely separated so your expensive gear isn't rubbing or banging against each other while you're traveling or moving between shoot locations. There's a dedicated spot for everything, which makes packing up at the end of a shoot incredibly simple. Moving on to the audio gear, they've included two windscreens for the microphone, a standard low-profile black one, and a heavier gray wind muff, often called a dead cat, for shooting in high wind conditions outdoors. Next, he's pulling out the small magnetic clip attachment. I will say that this clip is incredibly handy because it lets you snap the microphone transmitter directly to your shirt, collar, or strap without needing a physical, bulky plastic clip pulling it down on your clothes. It uses a rare earth magnet that's surprisingly strong, so you don't have to worry about the mic slipping or falling off when you're moving around dynamically on camera. And it's just really well thought out, low profile way to handle, quick audio setups. Next is the new DJI Mic 3 transmitter. The clear casing feels incredibly durable, and the form factor has been slightly upgraded to improve the clip tension and the internal antenna placement, ensuring that you get a clean wireless signal even if you step away from the camera. Right after that is the really interesting hardware addition for this specific generation. the native magnetic fill light. This is a dedicated low-profile light module designed to clip right onto the side of the system via a new physical connector link on the body. If you do a lot of vlogging or run and gun shooting at night or in poorly lit rooms, you know just how hard it is to get clean exposure without introducing a ton of grain. So having a tiny integrated light source built directly into the ecosystem that you can control right from the physical hardware is a huge upgrade for solo creators who don't want to carry around, an entire extra lighting rig. So while he works on getting the wide lens out, just a little bit more on the fill light, you can see that it has built-in physical buttons right next to the light module itself to adjust your brightness levels and shift between different color temperatures, which I thought was really cool. So next out of the case is the magnetic wide lens attachment, which safely snaps right onto the primary glass to give you a wider field of view for landscaping shots or tight spaces without distorting the edges of your frame. Right after that are the classic mini tripod legs that screw directly into the base of the handle. These are incredibly durable with rubberized feet on the bottom to prevent sliding on smooth surfaces. They fold up completely flat so you can leave them attached to the handle to act as an ergonomic grip extension when you're shooting handheld, which gives you much steadier panning shots. This piece he's unwrapping now is the extended battery handle. It significantly extends your overall shooting runtime for long days on location, but more importantly, it provides a standard 1/4-inch thread at the bottom so you can lock the whole rig into a full-size tripod, a light stand, or a backpack strap clip. For charging and data, you get 2 distinct cables. The proprietary magnetic charging cord meant specifically for the Mic 3 transmitter dock, so it stays powered up, and a heavy-duty, high-speed USB-C to USB-C powered delivery cable that supports the new USB 3.1 standard for incredibly fast file transfers when you're plugging it into your laptop. This is a huge upgrade for offloading massive 4K video files quickly without bottlenecking your workflow, and the rubberized housing feels like it'll hold up to a lot of abuse in a gear bag. And finally, he's pulling out the standard braided DJI wrist strap, which loops cleanly into the base of the handle. It's just cheap insurance against an accidental drop when you're moving fast, doing action shots, or handing the camera off on location. Alright, so here is the actual Pocket 4 camera body itself. It comes nested inside a completely redesigned plastic gimbal clamp. If you look closely at how he's handling it, this hard cover feels a lot more robust than the older flexible styles. It completely locks the mechanical screen and the camera head into a rigid fixed position. It's incredibly important because the internal 3-axis stabilizing motors are delicate, and this prevents them from taking a beating or getting twisted when the camera is bouncing around inside of your backpack or camera bag. You'll also notice some physical changes on the body here. The micro SD card slot on the side is now tucked safely behind a protective door, unlike the fully exposed slot on the Pocket 3, which is a great upgrade for weather protection. Now he's peeling the factory protective film off of the lens glass and the primary touchscreen. There is nothing better than seeing that completely pristine, brand new glass right before you boot up the system for the first time. Turning it on for the first time, you can see the 3-axis gimbal clears itself and calibrates automatically with that signature startup dance. The 2-inch rotatable OLED screen is incredibly sharp, and the panel brightness looks like it's been bumped up significantly, which should make a massive difference when you're trying to view your framing outside in direct, harsh sunlight. You can also see 2 brand new physical buttons underneath the screen. One is a dedicated zoom button with a magnifying glass icon, and the other is a customizable C button for quick setting toggles, which cuts down on how much you have to menu dive while shooting. As he navigates through the initial language selection and activation setup, the touch response looks immediate with absolutely zero lag or stuttering when swiping between menus. He's going to have to connect this to the DJI Memo app to finish the official activation and update the firmware. Flipping the screen between vertical and horizontal mode is completely seamless. and triggers the aspect ratio sensor instantly. This generation runs the new Active Track 7.0 system. The subject tracking algorithms are built to be a lot more aggressive and stickier, meaning if you're moving fast, vlogging while walking, or working in crowded environments, the camera is going to do a much better job of keeping you perfectly centered in the frame, even if you use the digital zoom. But a massive technical upgrade that justifies the investment for me is the 107 gigabytes of built-in internal storage. If you've ever gotten all the way to a shoot location only to realize you left your micro SD card sitting in your computer reader at home, you know just how devastating that is. Having that much native storage built right into the internal board is an incredible safety net for creators, allowing you to record high bitrate 4K footage completely card-free. Think about how many times you've had a card corruption error right in the middle of a shoot, or realized you didn't have enough high-speed class card to record in maximum frame rates. Having this high-speed flash storage soldered directly into the board eliminates that entire bottleneck. It means the right speeds are completely optimized for the camera's highest bit rates, which reduces the chance of drop frames or encoding lag when you're pushing the sensor to its limits. It also changes how you can manage your workflow on the go. You can essentially use the internal storage as your primary A-roll and save your micro SD card slot for extra B-roll or backup files. Or if you're traveling light and just doing a quick day of vlogging, you don't even have to bring an external case of cards with you. It's exactly the kind of thoughtful, pro-level hardware choice that makes a piece of gear feel like a true production tool rather than just a hobbyist gadget. When you power the device down by rotating the screen back, the gimbal automatically folds itself backwards into its locked storage position to protect the lens element. Full testing is next.